Hello, in this video we are simulating a simple profit model. So let's look at the problem. We are calculating profit based on revenue minus variable cost minus fixed cost. But the situation in reality is that we always have some uncertain inputs. So the amount of revenue and variable cost and fixed cost are not exactly certain numbers, fixed numbers. They follow a probability distribution and some probability are attached to them. So let's say that we know that our revenue follows a normal distribution. The same goes with variable cost and fixed cost. So in this situation, when we have uncertain input, we use simulation to come up with some estimate that what will happen in long run. So let's assume that we know that fixed cost, variable cost, and revenue have normal distributions with these given parameters. We know the mean of each of them and we know the standard deviation. So let's create some random numbers based on their probability and calculate profit. And then we'll repeat this process 1,000 times, 10,000 times to find something in the long run. So let's do the first round of simulation, meaning generating some random numbers based on their given probabilities and calculate our profit. Because they have normal distribution, we use a norm inverse function. So equal norm inverse. And this function, if you remember, asks for a probability value, mean and standard deviation, and it will give us a value that is associated with that probability. And we want some random numbers, so we generate random number between 0 and 1 for this probability. To do that, we use rand function. So this rand function, rand open parenthesis, close parenthesis, will generate random number between 0 and 1. And then the mean and standard deviation. So basically we just generated one random number from the distribution of normal distribution with mean of 60,000 and 4,000. So I can, if I hit enter, refresh my page, you will see that this number will change. So I'm refreshing my page. So each time a new number will be generated. We do the same thing for variable cost and revenue. So basically I'm creating some random number for probability and use the parameters of that specific distribution and create some random numbers. And then I can calculate my profit, revenue minus cost. So this is one simulation based on one creation of random numbers. So let's repeat this 1,000 times. We use data table for this purpose. So we create trial from 1 to 1,000 in order to do that instead of just typing or like dragging these numbers. There is some function that I can use. So you go to Home, Editing section, Field, Series. And then you say that I want a series to be created for me in column. We want it to be linear. At each step, we want to add just one number and we want to go up to 1,000. So from 1 to 1,000 is created here for me. And the next thing is that we put the reference here to one cell that includes function. We reference to our profit cell. And then we choose the whole table without choosing the titles. And then we go to data, what if analysis, data table. Put row input empty, and for column input, just choose refer to any empty cell in your worksheet. It doesn't matter. It just need to be an empty cell. And when you hit OK, it is calculating. Just a moment. Okay. So it is randomly generating this fixed cost, variable cost, and revenue, and calculate profit for us for 1,000 times. So how do we make decision based on this 1,000 number? We find mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, and risk of loss over this 1,000 trial. Mean is average of this range, and standard deviation the same range, minimum of the same range, maximum gain the same range. Another important thing that we can find is the risk of what is the probability of getting a negative value instead of gaining something, losing something. So we can count all the negative value and divide it by total number of trials, 1,000, and gives us the probability of loss or risk of loss. So equal count if the same range, and the criteria is less than 0. Remember to put it in quotation, and all of these negative numbers will be divided by 1,000 total number of trials. So 19% of the time we get something that is negative, so that is the risk of loss. And if I refresh my page, you will see that the numbers will slightly change, but not dramatically.